Welcome to SFN, your preeminent source for space and defense news and all things tangentially related. We're your hosts, loyal to the foil here at Houston Mission Control, and Alara of Sirius in low Earth orbit. And we're here live every Sunday night.
Welcome to Space Force News Live. We're happy to see all of you.
What up, space peeps?
What's up, cosmonauts? How's it going? I'm waiting to see. That's odd.
Well, we got a little bit of a delay. It's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. All right, can you guys let me know the audio is okay? Give me a 5x5 in the chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Erica. Hi, Christina. Hi, Becky. Woo! What a day.
Right?
Hey, Brandy.
Long day.
Brooklyn. Tim Cole. Wow, what a day. So we got liftoff. It happened.
Literally.
It looked like it was going to be delayed and till Tuesday, but we got liftoff today. So I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it did. We got one of the Falcon 9s up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oddly enough, in polar orbit, which is like something they haven't done in forever.
I wonder why. What could be the reason behind that?
I don't know. And I'm just saying there's something else I can think of in a polar orbit. The Black Knight satellite.
Yeah.
Which seems kind of odd, but I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. That's probably more related to conspiracy couch.
Well, they've put other stuff in polar orbit, have they not?
Yeah,
like I've heard.
Yeah, no, they have, but not in the past like decade from Florida or from Florida in any case. I guess this went right over Cuba. Which
do you know what the reason for them doing that is? I don't.
No, I have not a clue.
Huh?
Not a clue.
We're gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, something in polar orbit has to. You know what? I lie. I did see something about them saying it would be easier for resupply to do it that way.
Interesting.
Right.
So
a lot of interesting things going on, right?
So for those of you that I know not everybody's on Twitter actively and doesn't generally stumble across the same things, but so the CDC, I'm just so bothered by this. I have to talk about it with you guys.
That's fine. Have at it.
Yeah, the CDC put out some numbers on the 19. It turns out 6% of the deaths are actually related to 19 alone and not some other underlying health condition. So out of what was the numbers? In the hundreds of thousands?
150,000.
We're now down to under 10,000.
Imagine that.
We're all walking around losing our liberties and our freedoms and wearing sheet masks for the flu, essentially. That's killed. I don't know what's killed less, the flu season or this deal. But this is.
Oh no! Listen.
This is absurd.
Is apparently, definitely worse.
And the CDC website is down, or at least it was for a minute, because they're trying to hide this information coming out. Why they even fix the numbers is beyond me. Like once people figure out what's happened, they're gonna be pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that people saved the information prior to them pulling the website down.
It's crazy. Yeah, people took screenshots, and thank God for those people that took screenshots. So
I mean, we've seen this over and over again, like states having to recalculate their numbers because it turns out, 100% of the labs were sending in 100% positive cases or whatever. It's massive insanity on a grand scale. And I think that's kind of the point, obviously. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy the stuff we're seeing. What was the other thing that I saw today that was just wild? 6% though. I can't get over that. We've all been locked down over a lie.
I mean,
we've known this, but I'm saying like the general population, like they'll give you dirty looks. They're mad at you if you're not
the Karens.
Yes.
Oh, the Karens and the Brads.
And wait till they find out they were duped. You think the Patriots are pissed. You wait till the sleepers find out that they've been duped.
Do you think they'll... I don't know. Will they admit it, though? Are these, is this kind of the I'm going to die on that hill kind of thing?
Well, our favorite Anon says, 4 to 6%, won't ever come around. But that leaves a whole lot of people left that will, So I thought it was interesting too that the number was 6% after our favorite Anon put that drop out, right? And said 4 to 6%, and it was 6% of that number that actually passed away from the 19. So anyway, just things that make you go, yeah.
Right.
So you can't really see my afro foil. It's a little squished down at the moment, but
That's
yeah,
great though.
I'm growing it out, friend, and
I love it.
Yeah, it's looking
be
very
great.
crazy, but I'm good with it. I'm good with it. It's gonna look
Well, you've
crazier.
clearly got the most awesome shirt ever on, so that makes
Yeah,
up
you guys
for
want
any
to see
kind
my
of
shirt? Look, my
hair
Space Force
deficiencies.
shirts finally came in the mail. So this is my
Woohoo.
Trump Space Force shirt, right? I'm winning. I'm winning so much today.
That shirt right there is winning enough. Made
Yeah.
my day.
Yeah. And I have an official
Great.
Space Force one. I'm going to get the one with the Delta, you know, like the Semper Supra symbol, you know, the Delta
We
symbol.
really need to take that thing I sent you with the Space Force one, that like meme, and put it on a shirt. I think that would be awesome.
I need Space Mouse on a shirt. I'm just saying.
That would be awesome too.
I need my
I'm a fan
own
of that.
shirt that says Alara and then just has a picture of Space Mouse with his helmet. Like,
Commander Space Mouse.
yeah, and it should say that Commander Space Mouse, and then have
That'd
a
be great.
picture of Space Mouse. What do you think, guys? I think that would be amazing. I mean, so Becky, if you're out there, I know you make shirts. So Commander Alara needs her Space Mouse shirt. I'm just saying, like, you know,
It's official.
I won't be upset if Becky makes me a Space Mouse shirt. I just need one because it's me, and I need my Space Mouse shirt. But you
It
know,
happens.
maybe it'll catch on. Who knows? You know,
It might.
maybe
I
it'll
mean,
become a trend. Maybe I'll start like
the
a fad.
fact that there was a Space Mouse in the first place is pretty impressive. It should
is.
definitely be on a shirt somewhere.
Right. I completely agree. So, how's everybody doing out there in the chat? Russ, it's good to see you. Lucy in the Sky, Love by the Moon, Rob, Magic Bird.
Right. Magic Bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neo.
Right? Oh, Drink with Tessa. How you doing?
Right. What's Tessa, right?
Look, and she gave me
Look,
a Space
Space
Mouse.
Mouse.
Yeah. Winning.
Right?
Yeah. That's like my mascot, Space Mouse.
It makes sense though.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So, yeah, we are happy to be here with you guys today. We've got a lot of interesting Space Force news to cover. So we've kind of made a couple changes around. Okay, a couple changes around here. And,
A little bit.
We've decided to make things more family friendly and official. So, yeah.
Kids need to know this stuff.
Right.
They should be able to watch the
They
show.
should be
It's
able to
important.
watch the show and
Right.
so yeah. So
Yeah.
and we're getting a little more organized with our articles, and we have them into subsections. You'll notice in the description we've got Space Force news, and then I believe what are our other sections? We have just just space.
My
We have
favorite.
a high strangeness
Science.
section.
Science and tech.
Yep. So we have
Yeah.
it all put into different sections, and we'll be covering the different sections. And as the show continues, and we'll be eventually someday, we'll get Keystone to be our Space Force weather girl. And we figured out how to do it, but it's going to take it's a little bit of a challenge how we're going to do it. It's going to be cool when we finally do get it figured out. Hey, that's what we totally forgot today was the Schumann and the anyways.
Oh, the weather, space
Oh,
weather.
how
We've
did
got
we
a lot of
forget
good
that?
news, though.
We
got
do.
a lot of good
We
news.
do.
We
But it's
got
coming.
a full packed
just
show.
so you know,
Yeah.
it is coming. We're gonna.
It'll be here.
Yeah. So what else is updates? I think that's it as far as updates. The new format, time is the same. None of that changes. And with all that being said, I think
A little bit of help from the chat
right,
on the family friendly biz.
right,
Right.
So-
Resistance is futile.
right,
Right. We demand compliance.
right. Yeah, and we're trying not to go completely left because you guys know we both dig in serious rabbit holes, and some of them very sourced, some of them not so sourced.
Not so much.
Not
right?
so much. So we're going to kind of try to stay away from the non-sourced material, at least on the news show, and keep it as official news.
Yeah, we've got Thursday.
We want General Raymond to be proud. We don't want him to be like, oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Indeed.
Here they go again.
They said what? Right?
We want General Raymond to be like, look at our Space Force reps. Aren't they amazing? They took this all upon themselves, and they're just doing it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, we're doing this for you, General Raymond. So, all right. So, what would you like to cover first, Foil?
Well, I think we should just start off at the beginning there. Space Force news. That's what they're here for, right?
Right. Okay. So,
Right. So
let me...
we had a little bit Yeah, go ahead. You want to pull it up?
No,
The
go ahead.
Space Force,
Which article am I pulling up first?
the Space Force rank. So here's the deal. Space Force had this whole great plan. They were going to, announce their new rank structure. And like so often happens with other things in this country, Congress steps in. In this case, it happened to be Rep. Crenshaw, our favorite guy, Dan Crenshaw there from Texas, actually suggesting that instead of using what they had proposed, that we should go with the Navy ranks, which I'm not going to lie, kind of makes sense to me. I mean, we literally call them, when we have them, because allegedly we don't, but we literally call them spaceships.
Right.
Right. And ships have captains. Just makes perfect sense to me. I kind of agree, but I don't like, I don't necessarily like that we've got to kind of wait. It seems like people are for the most part on board. I mean, we've got a Chief Master Sergeant Roger Toberman that said he's down for whatever, basically.
Woot, woot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right? Shatner's really got an issue with all this too, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Well, Shatner's he's not digging it at all. He really
not digging
has
it at all.
To say. So let me
yeah, well,
show you.
He kind of agreed too, right?
Hey, I'm with Shatner. I'm with Shatner on this.
Yeah, we gotta have Navy. We gotta have Navy ranks. I mean, it should be the ship's captain, right? I mean, every science fiction thing we've ever seen.
Every Star Trek joke I've ever known just goes completely out the window.
Can you imagine if it wasn't Captain Kirk?
How are we going to make Space Force jokes when we don't have the Navy rank
set up? Well, calling them... See, here's the thing. They were going to use Air Force ranks, which ties back to when the Air Force split off from the Army way back in the day. And, they call the equivalent of a captain is a colonel. I just don't see, Colonel Kirk said, like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Captain. We should definitely have captains on our space ships, right?
Yeah, I have to side with Shatner on this. What do you guys think out there in the chat? Are you voting for Shatner here? Are you with the rank, the Navy rank structure, or are you totally good with the? I don't know. I kind of like the whole Delta vibe though. It's cool, but it just you're right.
I mean, maybe we'll get kind of like a commingling of things.
Right.
As long as they call the captain a captain, they can call everybody else whatever else.
Can they still call the captain a captain even if we're using the Air Force structure?
Man, it seems like they would not want to, but I think that should just be something grandfathered in. I mean, how many years have we had sci-fi movies that have shown space captains? I mean, it's just they're bringing in airmen starting September 1st. They're going to bring in airmen from from the Air Force into the Space Force. And I guess for the time being, they're going to continue to call them airmen. But maybe we'll see some kind of commingling. We don't really know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, that kind of, all of that sort of ties in with the next one, which would be, so all this rank structure news, in an effort to create its own identity separate from the Air Force, Space Force is naming its units deltas. A delta wing as a symbol of service. So let me show you.
And it sounds cool. Calling things deltas just sounds good, I think.
Is this it? Yeah, I think so. Cape Canaveral's Air Force launch wing to become a space delta. So the 45th Space Wing that oversees the space launch ranges in Florida will no longer be a wing. It will be a space delta. To create its own identity separate from the Air Force, the Space Force is naming its units deltas. The Delta Wing is the symbol of service adopted for its seal, logo, and flag. A changeover of the wings to deltas started last month when the Space Force deactivated 3 former U.S. Air Force Space Wings and replaced them with 9 deltas and 2 garrison commands. Deltas focus on specific missions, whereas garrisons provide support function to deltas assigned to their installations. The only 2 wings that have not yet been reorganized are the 45th Space Wing at Patrick Air Force Base in Florida and the 30th Space Wing at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. So the Space Force will have 3 major commands. Under each command will be deltas and garrisons with squadrons under them. Commands are run by 3-star generals, and deltas and garrisons are commanded by colonels. So
colonels. There we are with the colonels again.
Right. Why can't we have captain? Right.
Captains. Yeah. I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
Just
mean, I
doesn't
don't
sound
see the
right.
chat really up in arms about it, but I mean,
No,
I'm
I
with
mean, I'm
Shatner
all
on
for
this.
Delta. Like, I like deltas.
No,
That sounds
that sounds
cool. We
good.
talk about
That's cool.
deltas all the time, but we can
Right.
have like, the captain of the Delta. Like that sounds
Right.
like an awesome place to be in
The
life,
captain of the Delta. I mean, it's Space
right?
Force. Look, this is New Earth. We can do whatever we want. Why do we have to
Exactly.
keep the same structure we've always had? Like, it's a Space Force. Come on, this is the unknown. Why can't we change it up a little, you know?
Right. I agree.
Hi, Lotus. Hi, Chris. I saw a few other people I don't see now. Roseanne, welcome. Yeah, so, you know, Shatner was really upset about this, and I totally get why he was. Um, so we covered that.
Well,
I covered that.
Rob Vinoy says the politics of the branches of our military is kind of like a legendary thing to the people that served, and they're going to want to see,
All right.
you know, some kind of adherence, I'm sure. But the biggest news I think this week, uh, two words: moon base.
Okay,
Moon
give me
base.
1 second. Let me reset real quick. Just to the safe side. Okay, continue, ma'am.
Is this the Great Reset? We needed
Yes,
the Great
yes,
Reset.
ma'am. This is
Okay.
the Great Reset. You got it. We're trying to keep the stuttering from ever happening again by doing periodic resets on the mixer. So just so you guys know, and we're sorry it's in 720. Is it 720 tonight? But we weren't gonna try to mess with the
Yeah.
stream key 10 minutes before we went live. So our quality will be up next week, but this week we had to suck it up with the 720. So
Yeah, we're gonna get it together.
back to the moon bases. Isn't that where you were
Moon
going,
base.
Foil? Yeah.
So, yes, of course. Trump naturally came out and said he wants to put people on the moon, at literal moon bases. Now, naturally, um, Gizmodo wrote kind of an unflattering article about the issue, but they would. I don't see any argument with this. It Trump, aside from just mentioning moon bases, wanted to talk about American exceptionalism, which is great. I mean, stopping extremist groups, holding China accountable for the 19. I mean, no sanctuary cities. And then he hit us with moon base. Like, it just seems like a win-win to me all the way around. Everything with Trump is winning.
Right.
Shout out Lyndon. And, on the moon base,
Yeah.
I had
Right.
to throw it out there. Everything is winning,
Yeah.
right? I mean, on the moon base. Now, people are arguing against this. God knows why. But I guess the primary argument against Space Force is that we do not have space warfare yet, which seems kind of
Hold
backwards
on.
to me. I mean,
Hold on a second. I got a problem here. Houston. We have a problem.
oh, go ahead for
No,
problem.
I think it's okay now. I think it's fixed. Are we good, guys? Is the video okay, or
I saw it
it did something weird?
buffering momentarily
Yeah.
when you
Make
when you
sure.
did the Great Reset.
Yeah, I think we're good. Give me a 5-5, guys, if we're good on the video and the audio, for that matter.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a delay, so it might take a second here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of that 720 thing. I think that might be, because I've got different mixers and this and that going, and they're all set. If the bit rates are set differently, it's gonna cause an issue. They say 5x5. They say we're good to go.
Yeah, I see.
So yeah, continue on.
So, with the moon bases, they want to argue that we're preemptively creating a domain for space warfare, but I mean, that seems like the kind of thing we'd want to be on the front end of. I mean, I don't want to play catch up once China's up there with, space weapons and whatnot. I want to be the first one up there, and I think anybody that really put some thought into it would probably feel the same way. But they want to, redirect funding to all these other programs. But Trump seems very, very focused on this. I mean, he's even mentioned some other cool things. He wants space mines. I mean, we need those, right? Like on Star Trek, we need space mines.
Of course.
A militarized Starfleet. Like, I don't see us. What's the sense in having a demilitarized Starfleet? And who knows? We're out there now.
Right.
I mean, we're out there now. Obviously, we've sent things into space that have literally the location of our planet on it. I think we need to have some defenses just in case. Just in case.
Come on now, Foil.
What's wrong?
We
I see
both,
moon goo again.
right. We both, oh, they're bringing up the moon goo again.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Who says space warfare is? Oh no, space warfare is definitely already happening. I mean, it. I say this
that's
every week.
that's my point.
China is our
We
problem.
can cover the news. But we don't need to act like we're, you know, asleep and all we do is listen to the mainstream media because we
Yeah,
both
good
know.
lord.
Right. We
Yeah, I mean,
explained to
we
the
know what's
peeps
out
in
there.
show one why its space domain was important, you know, and the kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the
I mean,
directed energy weapons alone. Look at the stuff they do with
we
those.
yeah,
It's
we
crazy.
have orbital weapons platforms.
Mm.
We and how clever is it to have orbiting supply stations instead of trying to fly something? Like if something, God forbid, were to happen, why would we want to fly supplies across, across the globe when we could literally have it waiting in space and shoot it down
Broken
directly? Like
Broken Sergeant says we have already shot down a satellite with a fighter jet.
that does not surprise me. That does not
And
surprise me at
Roseanne says,
all.
according to Corey Good, we are already there. Um,
Oh no, well, we're on that page.
Rob
We're definitely
Vanoy
on that
says,
page.
call the bluff, moon base, Trump's a genius, haha.
Right?
Yeah, I mean they're disclosing the moon base we already have. Is
Yeah,
what's
well, I mean,
going on.
we know about, what, the
Moon
LOC,
bases, I should say, right?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't stop there. As a matter of fact, in a little bit of a better article published in Reason, he also specified he wanted to, uh, you know, aim for Mars. We're not stopping
Axel
at the moon.
Axel Verstraten says, let's fix the problems on the surface, then worry about space and underground. Hey,
Man,
Axel, you have a really good point. Um, I I firmly believe this. We have complete chaos going on up here, and we have to make sure that Trump gets reelected. You know, I was watching the Keystone channel the other night. She was talking to another guy who lives in Luxembourg, Germany. She was interviewing him, her guest. And I was really listening to what's going on with the Europeans, you know, and the way that they view us and Trump and the alliance. And it's like, they're really counting on us. Like, they're counting on us to, you know, get control, keep control, so that we can then free the rest of the world, literally. And I just, you know, it really hit me how
well,
important this is, you know.
here's the thing. Yes, we have chaos on the surface without a doubt, but we're not the only ones that see that. Our so-called adversaries, and I consider Russia like a half a problem. Our real problem is China, and they are definitely determined to go into space. And if they're going to do it, we have to do it first because they're watching the chaos unfolding here, like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons,
Right.
like excellent, just waiting for something to
But
happen.
they're
And
really
don't think they
exposing
won't.
themselves. They really are.
Are they? I mean,
I
I
mean,
I certainly hope so. I mean, I think we're prepared, but I also think I've always been a fan of the preemptive strike doctrine. I know I'm not
right.
necessarily a George Bush fan ever at all, but I have.
Foil, your sound just went out on my end. I don't know why. It's coming in and out. I think it's your internet signal. Oh no. Try
Well,
talking?
it shouldn't be.
No, you're good now. You're good now.
Can
Just
you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
it just went in and out for a second. You're good now. I wanted to say
I'm
too,
definitely
like,
hardwired in.
um, it's really low. Like, say something.
Something?
It's fine now. Yeah, it was just going in and out for a second. Okay, so,
We are having all kinds of tech issues. We'll get
right.
it together. We promise.
It's always helps when you pray before the show. So, this is what I wanted to bring up. So these protests. So I don't know if anybody saw this, but Robert Kennedy gave a speech in Germany. There was a massive crowd in Germany, and the same sort of similar thing kicked off in London in the last few days. And I don't know. I just, you know, I read energy, and just the
Oh,
feeling.
those are phenomenally large protests.
Yes, and those are peaceful protests for global change.
Yes.
And it's just, I really see, like, it's fall. I really see, I have a lot of hope. I see it's collapsing. I see people waking up in droves. I mean, our favorite Anon is now mainstream. CUE is mainstream. People are asking me about it that, you know, didn't care before. And that gives me a lot of hope.
Oh, I
And
know, right?
it does.
A lot
It
of
gives
lot
me
of
a
new
lot of hope.
interest.
That's right. It gives me a lot of new hope. So people, I think it's important to talk about, well, I mean, while we're on the subject here, I think it's important to talk about the secret space programs for this reason. It's really important for people to understand what the Space Force is and how important it is. If I thought, or I was convinced that all we had was rockets, and I saw all this talk of going to the moon and Mars and Space Force, and we have a new what do you call it? A new feel free to fill me in for, or help me out here, Foil. A new I'm stuck on my words. I need help.
A new branch.
A new branch. Thank you. A new branch. I can't believe it took me like 2 minutes to get that word out.
No worries.
But anyway, I think it's really important for people to understand why we need this, because we do have really advanced technology. It's just been in the wrong hands for a long, long time. And we've been lied to for a long time. And all that dynamic is changing now. But you can't just decloak a bunch of ships and go, sorry, guys, you were lied to. Like, it doesn't work that way. There has to be a slow rollout. And that's what the Space Force is here for.
I agree.
So, like, we're gonna have a moon base and all that. It's just, we have one, but they gotta slowly let people, just like, it's kind of good that the CUE thing went mainstream when it did and not early on, because people gotta acclimate. They had to see. It's just like CUE said, people have to see. You have to show them. People had to see all this chaos in the streets and the defund the police, and people needed to see what would happen if you really left these people to run things. And so
I agree.
It's important, I think.
And as much as people like us and people in the disclosure community want disclosure now, and I hate to agree with that study. I can't even think of what it was, but I really think that if all of the information was dropped at one time, there would be complete chaos. I do.
Well, I mean, I guess I agree, kind of. Like, I think
not for people that pay attention, but for the people that don't pay attention.
Well, I agree, and that's why I think there's a movie kind of playing out. That kind of what we're watching is a movie, and it's slowly disclosing this stuff. But I definitely don't think it should be dragged out over 50 years or something like
Lord,
that.
No.
And I think the deception with gas, coal, and oil has got to stop. And if it requires decloaking a ship, then that's what it requires. Like, I'm sorry you don't realize we have this technology and you don't research, but here you go, here it is. Because we have got to get energy independent. We can't be
independence. Yeah, I agree.
Energy independence. Yeah, exactly. I can't speak to that. What's wrong with me?
Even what we do have, I mean, it's really not that far off from what the science is there. The patents are there, the tech is there, and it's in everyday use. People look around them on a daily basis and see things that 20 years ago probably would have.
But the craziest thing, like, and I've had this discussion with people, they refuse to believe it, and they won't believe it until they see it with their own eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't say, hey, I was one of those people too. I don't know if I ever would have jumped in and done the research to even find the information that's out there had I not seen it myself. So I understand and appreciate and respect what seeing something can do for,
without a doubt,
expanding the mind and expanding someone's consciousness, which, I mean, is necessary at this point. So I didn't mean, yeah, Drink with Tessa says, yes, Alara, we should have our free energy by now. And Sandra says, amen to that. Yeah, it's time, you guys. Like, and we're the ones that are going to change all this. It's us, and
we are the plan.
I am proud to be here with you guys, every single one of you. And all of the things that we do are changing things. And I just have deep, profound respect and love for everyone in this movement. And it's just, we will change things. That's what we're doing.
And as much as we talk about things we need to be prepared for, it's also important to stay in the right and positive mindset, because we are definitely in a place and an energy now where thoughts become things.
Absolutely.
and we need to focus on that for
Absolutely.
sure.
We were just having a discussion earlier, you guys, today about a lot of these things that are, quote, labeled as UFOs, that are very strange, are not actually UFOs. We were talking about, we believe they are thought forms. They're people's thought forms, um, that are becoming physical things. And people just have been so dumbed down and they're not aware that this is happening. And so when you're not properly educated on it, then nobody's doing the practices to, not control's the wrong word, but to discipline their thoughts,
Cultivate.
cultivate their thoughts. Exactly. And so you've got these crazy thought forms running around that some people are mistaking as, uh, you know, but really, I mean, when you want to get into it, what's the difference between a being and a thought form? When you get into the next dimension,
I mean, it's
thoughts
still a
become
projection of
things.
energy.
Right.
Yes.
So really, it is just as real as anything else. Anything
I
else
mean,
around you.
they clearly interact.
This world of
They can
ours
clearly interact.
is not
So,
solid. This is not solid. This is a.
no, not at all.
This is a.
There's more empty space than matter in the
I
universe.
call it a
And that's
photonic
just a fact.
illusion. Some people call it a holodeck. Whatever. It's not solid. It's not like you think it is. And anyway. So, should we return to? So somebody brought up. I don't know who it was a few minutes ago. I think it was Drink with Tess, or somebody brought up the Mars, Trump and Mars. So would you like to cover that one? And I'll switch over to that article, Foil.
Uh, which part about Trump and
Trump
Mars?
promises manned moon base mission to
Man,
Mars during second term.
yeah, I did that one. Yeah, I did that one. You
I
missed
didn't
it. It's
hear you
okay.
go into the Mars stuff. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just basically co-signed it. He's on with Elon's plan. Um, and definitely that was one of the things the article was arguing about, was that he didn't want, that they were kind of making fun of Trump's use of Elon Musk. But I have long been one to look to private industry for answers that we're seeking. I don't see any problem with it. We're going to see it grow exponentially anyway. I mean, we've seen what is it, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic. Like we have numerous private companies that are going into everything from space tourism to mining. And if I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think Trump is just really, really on the forefront, and kind of a visionary in the area, because for the longest time it was played down. We kept our eyes on the ground. Like, finally we have a president that's pushing us to look to the sky again, and I'm grateful for that personally.
Hi, Rob. I see you. Bye, Rob. Hi, Davis dog.
Right?
Hi, Rob. Bye, Rob. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm stoked about what his second term is going to hold for us. It could get really interesting. It could get
Oh, I think it definitely will.
extremely interesting.
I
So,
see a lot of people in the chat asking about, um, is there anything in the Bible to kind of back up what we were just discussing? And if you don't mind, I'd like to
which,
go ahead and,
sure,
and bring up,
which part of what we were discussing?
well, I mean, everything from, I've seen comments here, everything from extraterrestrials to, uh, let me scroll back and see who said it. I'm sorry, you guys. I was watching, but we were talking. Um, Everything, I started noticing that we were talking about there being more empty space in the universe than matter. And I kind of want to touch on that because I came across something
Do
really, really
you
important this week.
Do you want me to bring up the light article while you talk about this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do,
Okay, so check this out,
if
you
you
guys.
don't
We
mind.
talked about this on Conspiracy Couch, but most people missed it because it was during the RNC. So Foyle's going to go back over some of that right now. This is really, really, really interesting, and it's about what you guys were talking about.
I mean, our favorite Anon says it's going to be biblical all the time. And I mean, this literally is. And just bear with me, you guys. I know we've got a lot of diverse people here with diverse beliefs, but I'm sure most of you guys have heard um, from the Bible, most creation stories. The Bible specifically says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was from God. But literally, a sound, they call it logos, which is kind of a sound that we're all a universal sound that we are all derived from. It's a vibration, and then after the sound came the light. And I want to touch on something real quick. Um, First of all, can sound create light? Sound can definitely create light. I don't know if you guys are familiar with with what they call sonoluminescence, but it's the process by which sound literally makes light. Okay. And I'll give you an example. They have shrimp. They live at the bottom in the depths, right? So they don't really see, and they're kind of clear. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but in any case, when they clasp their little claws, they do it so fast that it creates an area of low pressure between the claws, and they make all these little bubbles, right? So when these bubbles collapse in on themselves, it's almost like a little sonic shockwave. But when these bubbles collapse in on themselves, there's a snap and a flash of light, literally from the low pressure and the bubbles that collapse within the field of the crab claws, which is kind of crazy. They literally make, sound creates light. And so now they've even we can replicate that in a lab. By the way, this isn't like unsourced information. I mean, they can literally do this in a lab. They can make light from sound. So recently, scientists at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN have taken it a step further. They created matter from light. Okay. Now, aside from the fact that I think this is like a wretched idea, there are certain things I just don't think we should mess with, and that happens to be one of them. But nevertheless, it's definitely awesome and awe-inspiring. But what they were able to do was slam together two high-energy photons, which are particles of light, and they were able to make more photons. But they've even taken that a step further. Now, they have managed to create two W bosons from the photons. And that might not sound like much, but follow me here. This experiment they did proved two things. One, you can literally create matter from light. And two, at a high enough energy, electromagnetic forces and weak forces, which are the ones that govern like nuclear decay, they're essentially the same thing. So how long do you think it would take for particles of light bouncing around in this void of a universe created by the Logos to start to create matter? A couple billion years, maybe. And then if all we know, right, are created from this sound from the bubble collapse, what would we call that? Would we call that the Big Bang? Maybe the Big Bounce? Is it like a never-ending process that repeats itself? Do they pop in and out of existence? I mean, is that not the entirety of the questions that we're asking? How many are there? I personally am with the whole electric universe with bubble pocket universes. It seems plausible to me. And I know we're talking about like quantum electromechanics, but it's heavy stuff. Everything we know is quantum electromechanical in nature. And I don't know about you, but as far as you guys asking about the Bible in the chat, this verifies a couple of things for me. Number one, that there's nothing that exists that didn't come from the Word, the first Word. And also that when that light shined in the darkness definitely didn't know what it was. And I just thought that was really important. You guys were asking, like, we've literally, people have argued for decades over, science killed God, or science killed religion, or I think we're to the point now where science is actually proving God, if not proving God, at least proving that there is a design.
There is a design and a designer, whatever your concept of that may be.
Whatever you want to call it, for sure.
There is a design and a designer, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it in cymatics. You can see it in, for those of you that haven't checked out cymatics, there's an awesome video by Nigel Stanford. He's one of my favorites. He's an amazing sound engineer. Anyway, there's a video called Cymatics. Check it out on YouTube. And it just shows how things form into these geometric, sound makes these geometric patterns. It makes sacred geometry. There's a design and a designer.
There is a plan.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I'm with you on that.
Super cool to see it, I have the Could the Universe Collapse into a Singularity article pulled up if you'd like to track into that from that.
Yeah, well, and that kind of falls because, like I was saying, I see some of you guys mention the Big Bounce. Like, that's actually a theory that they're pushing. Personally, what I understand, just from studies and whatnot, is that, like I said, these things pop in and out of existence, and that it's probably like a repeating thing. We have the Big Bang expansion, which eventually collapses in on itself, and then we have another expansion, which eventually collapses in on itself. And maybe the arrangements are slightly different sometimes. Maybe they're not. Maybe this is a process that's going on over and over and over again in different pocket universes, different universal bubbles. I mean, there's really no I mean, we're really getting to the point where we may be able to answer some of these questions. Um, they've had a problem in the past. I'm sure you guys have heard of the, string theory, or they call it the Big Bang theory. Like, a lot of these things are theories, but I mean, I guess they're only theories until they're not, or they're only theories until a better theory comes along.
Okay.
But this really seems to fit, the universe collapsing
Yep.
into a singularity, and then from that collapse, probably the birth of a whole new universe.
Right.
From a sound, from the light. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. Super, super awesome. And I found, I thought this was pretty cool. Let me find it for you guys. This, where is it? Why come I can't find it? Oh, yeah. So I came across this article, and submarine could explore seas of huge Saturn moon Titan. So the sub could be ready to launch in the 2030s, researchers said. So they're going to send a submarine to go explore Titan. And
We can't do that without a space force. That's all I'm saying.
right. Like, I was thinking about that too. How are we going to get the boat up there? Like, what's the plan on that? So I'll read a little bit here. It says the researchers have been crafting a concept mission that would send a submarine to Saturn's huge moon Titan, which sports lakes and seas of liquid hydrocarbons on its frigid surface. Such a mission, if approved and funded by NASA, could be ready to launch in the 2030s, potentially paving the way for even more ambitious submarine exploration down the road, the concept developers said. They said, we feel that Titan submarine is kind of a first step before you go to a Europa or, I don't know how to say that moon's name, Enceladus. Ugh. Woo,
Enceladus?
today. Enceladus? Is that how you say it? Submission. Stephen
think
Olson
so.
of NASA's Glenn Research Center
yeah.
in Ohio said last month during a presentation in the agency's Future in Space Operations Working Group. So Europa and Enceladus, moons of Jupiter and Saturn respectively, both harbor huge oceans of liquid water, but these two water bodies are buried under ice shells and therefore be tougher to drop a sub in than Titan's surface areas. This is kind of a cool little visual right here about it. But yeah, I think that's super cool. Like, we're going to go have little submarines cruising around on Titan. So, I mean, who knows what really the
I
truth
wonder what they'll find under the water.
Right? Like, seriously, I wonder what lives in that. And,
Right?
they don't tell us the truth, right?
I
So
see
that
the little thing.
I'm wondering
sonar there.
I'm wondering if we're just going to get some disclosure about Titan. Is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it's anything like they tell us it is or it's not. And if this is like, part of the whole. It's such a cool thing, though. Check this out, you guys.
You asked about how they would get it there. I think that they would probably bring it up in smaller pieces, construct it in space, and then launch once it's up there.
Whoops.
If that makes sense.
I didn't mean to do that. Maybe we should play a minute of that. That's kind of cool. Here, I'm going to put the button on so I can play it real quick.
Have at it.
In fact, I'm going to reset the audio engine and then do that. Okay. I'm going to put that on. Okay. Here we go. I love it. It's so cute. Oh, imagine that view of Saturn right there. Sweet. Whoops. Sorry about that, friends. Anyway, you guys get the basic idea on that. I
They
think
called
it's
it the Kraken. I'm
right.
down.
The Kraken.
Like that's all it took.
Right.
I completely support it. I vote for that.
Yeah.
Can we vote for that?
Yeah.
I want to vote for that. Right.
I'm down with the Kraken. That's kind of a cool name
Well,
for it.
since we're sending submarines to Saturn, something else cool was that they have they have this thing, they want to make spacecraft out of carbon foam bubbles, right? And then power it with solar power, like solar wind, a solar sail, literally a sun sail. And they want to use it for interstellar space flight. How awesome is that?
Yeah,
They're thinking that they could make,
here's the article right here. Could carbon foam probes bring interstellar
Yep.
flight within reach? Yeah.
Yeah, they really think they can get us to Proxima Centauri in 185 years. Now, granted, that's kind of a generational thing, or maybe they don't even have to put people in it. You know, maybe that's why Neuralink will work. We'll just get some people that link in to some like robot drones and send them out there into interstellar space. That'd be kind of awesome, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't like this whole deal, and I'm just gonna say it though. I don't like this whole deal with the Neuralink situation with our evil tech or overlord. Look, it freaked me out. I saw that live. I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a Neuralink conference. Oh, I wish I had the pig article to pull up to show everybody. That's just freaky. And pigs of all creatures, but there was just a Neuralink conference with Elon, our favorite tech overlord, evil tech overlord, and he was going into the whole Neuralink thing, and I don't consent. I don't want any part of that.
He's got brain chipped pigs and brain surgery robots. Like, I do not vote for that.
No.
Saturn submarine all the way.
Look, we're moving in.
Robots.
We're moving into Skynet here, is what's going on. And I wanted to show them the video where we're on the topic of Skynet and Elon and transhumanism and all of that. Check this video out, you guys. I'm going to play it. Oh, let me grab it. This is just like so scary. Let me play this for you guys. Right? Yeah.
Pentagon's working on a chilling project for robots to not only do the fighting itself, but also to act as digital generals, controlling life or death decisions then, potentially. Sensors will link air, land, sea, space and cyberspace forces, making a split-second choice if they have to over who and where to shoot. The system's dubbed the Joint All-Domain Command and Control, or GADC2, and it's soon planned to do the job of even senior military staff. But it's a huge worry, huge concerns over excluding humans from decisions, especially if that technology fails. We put the whole issue of removing people from key military positions up for debate then.
Almost on a daily basis.
War is really a simple thing. I've done it. And I know that there's new technology out there that has complicated it somewhat. But it's about closing with and destroying the enemy through firepower maneuver. That's it. Well, there is such a thing as too much data. If you get too much data, you actually create a lot of friction in the decision making. All you're doing is actually increasing the vulnerability of the forces engaged in combat by creating points that can be eliminated.
There is no danger of human beings being replaced in the decision-making cycle anytime soon. Robots are bringing together huge amounts of data. There's so much data now that is being fed into different places. We need something to help the human brain keep up with it.
The point is, when you let machines make the decisions that they have found the correct target and that this is the appropriate situation in which to engage that target, and if the machine also is going to be tasked with any responsibility for deciding, well, are there civilians around? Is there some other reason why we don't want to attack this target right now? You're basically making it fully autonomous.
There are no pure autonomous weapon systems out there today that are fielded by any Western country. And we're simplifying conflict currently. There are very few conflict situations where you simply close and kill the enemy. Most of the conflict situations we find ourselves in at the moment are dealing with enemies who are living within the population.
We haven't won a war on terrorism yet. I mean, that's...
Okay, so that goes on, but
well, remember what I said week 1 about Project Maven?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
right? Where Google was trying to train the AI so that they could see and be autonomous and carry out autonomous strikes.
Right.
This is just taking that a step farther. And personally, I think it's terrifying. He says that there's no chance of humans being eliminated from the decision process until the robots decide it's time to
until the
eliminate
robots
humans from the
decide
decision process.
that we're not needed, and then that's a wrap. So yeah, this stuff's getting way too Skynet for me. And you know what I was thinking too, Foil? I really think it's sad, honestly, that there's people out there that think transhumanism is the only way to achieve immortality or a longer lifespan or whatever.
They're
really
trying to sell it as like a, if you can't beat them, join them, you know, and I understand why they make the argument, although I disagree completely. I mean,
it's because they don't understand spiritual things. That's all. Like, I've tried to look at it from their perspective, and I'm like, they don't understand that through spiritual abilities, you can do very advanced things that you don't need to go this route is the point, you know?
Here's my issue. Even if we didn't do it, somebody's going to do it. And listen, AI, fully sentient AI, it's coming. And like our favorite evil tech overlord says, once you open that box, you can't put it back in the box.
No, the robots are going to decide we're a problem. And it's that simple. At some point, they will arrive at that decision. And
So then what, though, is the thing. And that's why Elon is pushing this transhumanist stuff. The Neuralink specifically, the brain chips, is because he's saying that we need the bandwidth as humans. We need the human brain to be able to have the bandwidth to be able to have any competition to these things. But I still think there will be no competition to be had. And I mean, we have to find a way to shut that down completely. But that's probably not going to happen. I mean, the reality is they're pushing forward with this stuff, you know, and so rather than play catch up once Pandora's box is open, I guess they're just trying to preempt that too.
I want to see that timeline of humans in 200 years.
Man,
how much you want to bet they're like a bunch of gray ETs with no...
Man, I hope we're off this rock soon. Prior to that,
you know,
algorithmic warfare, Project Maven, like these things are happening. That's not science fiction. That's literally in the Intelligence Authorization Act and in the 2021 defense budget. You know.
So Broken Sergeant said, unfortunately, who would put this past any other nations right now? Hopefully they are not hardened. And Lotus says it must be about consciousness. AI is down a step, but not improving.
I agree.
Yeah, and you know, this AI topic is really deep. So let me find that article that I was going to cover about this. I mean, on the subject of, well, not really, of quantum computers. This is kind of like a winning thing. This isn't so bad, but there's so Google conducts largest chemical simulation on a quantum computer to date. A team of researchers with Google's AI quantum team, working with unspecified collaborators, has conducted the largest chemical simulation on a quantum...
I'm sorry, the word collaborator gets me every time. Go ahead.
On a quantum computer to date. In their paper published in the journal Science, the group describes their work and why they believe it was a step forward in quantum computing. Tao Huan of Stanford University has written a perspective piece outlining the potential benefits of quantum computer use to conduct chemical simulations, and the work by the team at AI Quantum, published in the same journal issue. Developing an ability to predict chemical processes by simulating them on computers would be of great benefit to chemists currently. They do most of it through trial and error. Prediction would open up the door to the development of a wide range of new materials with still unknown properties. Sadly, current computers lack the exponential scaling that would be required for such work. Because of that, chemists have been hoping quantum computers will one day step in to take that role. And like Foyle and I were talking about earlier, the blowing stuff up is half the fun, man. It takes the fun completely out of chemistry.
Right. Scientists all over the world are like, no.
Elon would not be down with that. He is all about blowing his rockets up. He's all for it.
And he does it. He blows up rockets at like a third of the price of Congress. It's great.
Yeah, he totally does. Yeah.
I mean, we're not even just talking about blowing stuff up though. I mean, apparently this quantum computers will be able to predict a variety of chemical processes. I mean, when you think about it, everything's electrochemical in nature as well.
Yeah.
They'll probably be able to predict all kinds of new
Right? Come up with,
medications and stuff that we
Yep.
don't want to take anyway, and
all kinds of stuff. Yep.
Right.
New materials and yeah, but
Right.
that might be kind of an explanation too why they were able to so quickly come up with all these alternative
Man.
materials. And if you're catching my drift, peeps.
Yeah.
Cosmonauts.
Well, I won't lay it down completely, but I mean, our government has been funding a plug and play response to the 19 for years. I published the research on my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
They knew. I mean, they've been preparing this, but like any other plug and play, you can kind of make it an adaptive technology, which I guess is kind of neat, but I still want no part of it.
No, I'm all about the spiritual path. The more you could call it advanced. I don't really call it advanced, but the more our technology and engineering progresses, the more I have completely turned the other direction. I want a
It's
peaceful
like
existence with natural food, and I don't want any part of it. I can't even hold the cell phone. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but I can't hold the phone. If I hold the phone, my neck and my back will start spazzing up. I can feel it zapping me and doing terrible, horrible things to me. Like, I can't even hold my cell phone. I see some people walk around with it in their hand all day, and I'm like, how do you not feel what it's doing to you? But I guess some people can't feel it.
Do you know that they have cities? There's one in West Virginia, I want to say. They have like enclaves where they don't allow like tech, pretty much. I mean, not like no tech, but like the Wi-Fi and whatnot. They don't let that happen there. They try to cut back on the frequency pollution as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I guess those are kind of cool places.
I think we get there. I think we're gonna get there. The 6G, you know what that's about, don't you, Foyle? Haven't we had this discussion?
We've had this discussion.
Okay. So if we're gonna get to a point where we have this tech that's not, we're gonna have the quantum computers, and we'll have the 6G, and we'll have the tech that's not, harming the population.
Quite so invasive. Yeah.
Yeah, evasive was the word I was looking for, and I'm excited about that because the 5G stuff is totally scary what they could do with that.
Well, unfortunately, I think that was the whole point in the design at this point. But the important thing is that we have to choose consciousness over tech.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, they're pushing tech, and it's literally blinding people.
Everybody in the chat says they agree about the phone. They're totally aware of it too. And Lotus says, yes, totally agree, Alara. I keep the cell phone as far away from me as possible. As we improve in our use of our consciousness over tech sort of disappears into consciousness. Absolutely right. I think there's two different timelines here. One's going to be technology is our savior. The other timeline's going to be expanding.
We're going to see a divergence.
Yes, we're going to see a split. And I'm a firm believer in that. And hey, I would be happy if the sun did a nice CME and just took all of our tech out. Because really, the tech we use now is just it's not healthy. We've discussed this before. It's kind of like archaic, unhealthy, negative stuff. And I'd be happy with that CME, just zap it all and let's just start over and release the real stuff. So I'd be good with that. I'm hoping it goes down like that, to be honest. But that's me. Anybody else hoping for that?
Before Skynet takes control.
Right before Skynet takes control.
Yeah, hopefully not after. Hopefully before Skynet takes control.
Right, that's what I'm hoping too. That's what I'm hoping. So,
you want to hit the high strangeness real quick?
Well, I had to hit one more Space Force thing, and then we can go high strangeness. So we covered, I think, SpaceX was supposed to launch, I think, was it like 2 days ago? They ended up getting delayed till Tuesday. Well, then they ended up launching today. I think we went into a little bit of that at the beginning. SpaceX to launch and recover Falcon 9 rockets 9 hours apart. This was the original plan. These will carry the next payload of Starlink satellites, which will put us up over 600 in orbit. Yeah, man.
On to 30,000.
right?
That's crazy.
The company plans to roll out internet service with the fleet later this year. And that's the plan with Starlink. There was a little bit of news with Raymond that I wanted to cover.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
General Raymond, sir.
So General Raymond and Space Force entered new ambitious phase as U.S. Space Command changes leaders. Dickinson enabled General Raymond to remove one of his dual hats and focus exclusively as a chief of space operations. He is the highest ranking officer. Dickinson is going to be taking over U.S. Space Command. So I just wanted to cover that.
But now we've got a good guy focused solely on Space Force,
Right.
and I'm all about that.
Right. That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, so into high strangeness. Dun dun dun. I wish we had some cool high strangeness music to
Right.
play, like a awesome bumper for this section.
Yeah, a little X-Filey sounding.
Right? I loved that X-Files music we played on Conspiracy
That was
Couch.
awesome.
Yeah, that was
the
awesome.
best.
I don't even know how I came
Good
up on
find.
that. Yeah.
I don't know. Good find.
It's a thing to come up with some music
Stuff you
that's
can
not
use.
copyrighted. Yeah, that you can
Right.
actually use. Okay, so on to our next department, which is high strangeness.
Yes,
Would you like
this
to
is
start with
impressive.
that? All right, I'm going to show the
This-
article while you talk.
Not a problem. So now obviously we get a lot of stories out of Florida, but this year has been particularly active. The National UFO Reporting Center gets, umpteen reports a year, but in 2020 alone, they've had more than 5,500 UFO reports that have been filed by people in Florida just this year alone, which is kind of a lot, right? Kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, I mean, for those of you that are waiting for the alien invasion, you may not have to wait very much longer.
No.
Looks like we've got some stuff going on in the skies. Now, it is Florida. We have Florida Man, the advent of Florida Man, so we get kind of crazy stories out of Florida, but I tend to believe these ones. There was a sighting in Crestview, which I thought was particularly interesting. A guy and his wife were outside, and they saw something in the sky they thought were fireworks. They saw 4 streams of lights, and then they realized that more lights were appearing, which kind of discounted the fireworks theory. He said that they were casting their own glow. They became, I guess they expanded maybe a bit. He said they were about 4 times the size of a semi-truck and trailer, which seems kind of big to me. And then prior to them disappearing, apparently they kind of phased out because they were translucent, and then they were completely invisible. And he said before they completely disappeared, when they popped out, it made some kind of like an ear-splitting noise that literally made them duck. He said he felt like it was kind of coming towards him, and he had to get out of the way, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
UFOs. I love UFOs. UFOs.
yeah, I really think we should
Have
start
you-
going onto that site and kind of looking through the reports and see what kind of interesting things we can find to bring to the show for people.
Right.
I think that'd be a good idea.
UFOs are just a great topic because it never ends. And now that they've confirmed them in the mainstream to some degree, they've said that they have stuff that's not from this world, whatever that means. We went over that last week,
Right.
I think.
Exactly.
And I myself just got back from ESETI, which is Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It's James Gilliland's ranch in Washington State. Anyhow, the spaceships interacting with the human beings is like it's a constant thing there.
They use some kind of like consciousness tech, yeah? Some of them, I guess.
What the
Not all of them.
the UFO? I tend to read. I've seen a lot of spaceships. I tend to read the energy, and then like some of them will talk to you like telepathically. So I can kind of tell if they're ours or they're not ours, like
Right.
ET. And
I have a
and-
question for you.
yeah.
If you had to put a percentage on, what percentage of these do you think are possibly like definitely a tech-based, like an extraterrestrial thing versus like maybe some sort of an interdimensional thing? Or do you think that they kind of collide or what?
I don't, because they haven't landed and sat down and had a Starbucks with me. I don't I can't I can't tell you whether they're interdimensional or from off planet or both. I don't know. You know, we've had many conversations about this. But but the difference between our ships that, you know, you don't see those very often because they stay cloaked all the time. But the difference, I think, between our ships and their ships are more playful. So any of you guys that have seen UFOs in the chat, feel free to chime in. The ETs are more playful. When you interact with them and you talk to them, they will respond. They will do things. They'll make their ships light up. They communicate with you. Our ships, you just might happen to spot if it's decloaked for a minute, but it doesn't have that magical sort of feeling. So is this kind of a good description, you guys, for those that have had experiences with ET craft before? Brianna says, what I see is opalescent orb-like object, steady, not fast, slow. Roseanne says ESETI's on her bucket list. Yeah, you guys definitely got to go there. It's amazing. Like, if you haven't had that experience of interacting with extra-dimensional or, off-planet ET ships, you will have that experience there. And it's very special. It's cool, because you get it. You see that we're not alone. They're there. They're not allowing us to see them at this time. Not in any real significant way. Now, why that is, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go into of why that is.
Man, right? That sounds like conspiracy couch.
Right. That sounds like conspiracy couch to me. But there's obviously something going on, and they're obviously out there. And why they're not, they don't make it apparent that they're there. I don't have the answers to that. Maybe there's a secret agreement. Who knows?
Seems plausible.
Right? Seems
the truth
totally
is out
plausible.
there, though. We know that. The truth is out there.
The truth is definitely out there. Absolutely. So yeah, I think we all need to just stay open-minded and watch what happens in the next few years. I think it's going to get really, really interesting once we get past the election and we start really getting rid of these evil people that are running our world governments. I think there could be some really interesting disclosures ahead, and I'm really excited for that personally. So,
I mean, Trump promised us a lot. He promised, new life extension stuff that they've had, and all kinds of.
I have faith.
Releases.
I have faith that he's going to decloak the ships, and I have faith.
I know, right?
That he's going to release the cures.
Right over the White House on Inauguration Day. That'd be awesome.
And you decloak the ships, there goes the free energy right there. Like, that's
right. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Right.
Like, so really all we need is decloak the ships, and I'll never let up on that
Step one,
topic.
decloak.
That's right. Decloak the ships.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Well, at least we can agree on what the first step, man.
Can you
yes,
even
I can imagine. That'd be awesome.
Right?
So, hopefully there'll be enough people that are like, wow, look at, really impressed. Just really impressed with it.
Right.
I hope, because we got to stay off the fear frequency.
Well, I mean, I you know what I wonder about too, you guys, is so there's a difference between decloaking our, ships and the ETs, for instance, landing and saying, here we are, hi,
Right.
Which that would be a totally different experience. And I think that would elevate humanity. Although, I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
Do you think they would freak out if you were a total sleeper and you saw, say, a mantid land in a ship, get off the ship, and greet you telepathically? Do you think, and you were a total sleeper, you didn't know there was aliens, you didn't know there was secret space programs, you didn't know there was any advanced tech, and you just believed what you saw in the news. Do you think you would just how shocking would that be?
Dude, I know these things, and I think I would still probably panic, at least
true.
at first.
You'll have a visceral reaction.
I don't know if that's a controllable thing.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I'm sure it'd be kind of like that Independence Day thing where people stop fighting with each other real quick.
That's the only thing that I really want to see from it. To be totally honest, when I see the division, and I know that the news is creating it and blah, 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 humanity's really not like that. We help each other out and work as a team and with our planet, and that's our natural state. We've been manipulated into this division game that we're playing. But
so much so.
Can you just imagine how that'll change the whole perspective of it's not your country or your religion or your flag or your skin color. That will end right then and there, because we're all human beings living on planet Earth. The Earth, guys. The Earth. Yeah.
Right.
Becky says, I think people would freak at first, but it would become normal faster than we would think. I totally agree with that. I think, yeah, they're going to freak at first, but eventually you'd be surprised what you can become accustomed to, and it becomes normal, right? I mean, we've seen that in the last 6 months.
Yeah, right. We're not surprised.
You know, and we're talking about a good thing here, not a bad thing. And also their frequency, their energy will affect you. So just being in their field is going to affect you. So people that have had these sort of experiences that I've talked to say that being in the field of a higher dimensional being can often
raises your consciousness.
Yeah, it raises your consciousness. It can make you very emotional, bring tears. It forces you to face. I think it was even Ben Chastain that said this in an interview we did on this channel, that it forces you to face your stuff. Just their interaction with you raises your consciousness. So I think just that interaction with humanity would elevate humanity immediately. They'd be forced to have to face their petty differences and their egos and all these other things. They'd be forced to have to face them and evolve, you know? So I think that would be incredibly, that would be awesome. So let's hope it happens sooner than later. I don't know. It would be nice, I once you get that point, Foil, where you accept and love humanity and you have compassion for the division because you know it's a manipulation, I don't know, my heart longs to talk to them, and interact with them, because I know they're more advanced than us. And I want to interact and talk with someone that is more advanced, that can teach me. I want a teacher. That's what it is. And I feel like they have something to teach me, So that's just my perspective. I can dig it. Right?
I can dig it. I feel like I found my teacher, but I would definitely listen.
Right.
I would definitely listen just to see, I'm naturally skeptical. Oddly enough, I'm naturally skeptical. So I definitely want to feel the situation out first. I don't think I'd run out there like.
Right. No, I get it. I'm a firm believer, Foil, that when in the presence of a being that is not human, it will be immediately clear to you by how you feel if it's a positive.
You will know them by their fruits.
Yes, you will know them by their fruits. You will immediately know if it's a positive or negative being. There won't even be a question, I don't think. Anyway, but that's my own perspective on it. Mr. Fox says, when I'm sleepy all the time, I know they are around me. Yeah, I think a lot of people experience this. They may not see them with their physical eyes, but they do feel them. They feel a presence.
Man, is that what's going on at my house? I thought it was like a spirit of slumber, but everybody that comes in here is like tired.
I think there's a difference.
Of course, it might be the other stuff in my house.
Right.
I gotta check on that.
Right.
Forgot about that.
Clearly. So there's a difference, I think. I don't have the answers, and I want them. That's why I want the veil to get thinner, and I want to keep it moving, because I want to know. I want to know the answers. Doesn't it say something in the Bible about you're not going to know the answers until you get to the other side? Doesn't it say something about that?
I don't know. I don't know the exact line, I'm sure, but yeah.
But hopefully we'll get some answers during the shifting from one dimension to the next. Like, I know I've gotten answers that I didn't have 15 years ago because of the shifting. So hopefully that trend will continue, So anyway, we're looking at an hour and 15 minutes. I know you had some things you needed to take care of tonight. So I wanted to go ahead and let everybody know the Pink Patriot Hour is going to continue on the Kate Awakening channel. It will be called the Pink Patriot Podcast. And that will be on September 2nd on the Kate Awakening channel. So please go and like and subscribe to Kate's channel so you can get notifications. Our first guest will be Judith Rose. That's on the 2nd at 6 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday nights. The same as it used to be It'll be the same day, same time, just on Kate's channel called the Pink Patriot Podcast. And I wanted to give a shout out to, before we go, Brianna Eves. I think she's in the chat. She may have left.
Yeah, I just saw her.
Brianna she did the screen for Space Force News Live. She does a lot of the promos. She does a lot of digital media for this channel, and she's doing stuff for Kate and I, and for Foil and I, and I'm very grateful to have her, and she does amazing work. So check out her work if you get a chance and you're looking for that sort of thing. She does amazing work. And last but not least, I'm going to say it. I have gotten into the fanny pack thing. The older I get, I just don't care. Look, I just don't care. I want the convenience of a fanny pack, and I don't care. And I'll rock it. Same reason I rock my silver streaks, and I just don't care anymore. So,
Right.
if you're considering rocking a fanny pack, you know, you're getting into the same mentality as me and you're good with it. You know, I'm just saying, if I was going to rock a fanny pack and I could have my choice, I would go and purchase a white hat fanny pack. That's
for sure.
Yeah. So for those that, you know, have never checked out White Hat's channel, he does a great informative channel. He does like a Our Favorite Anon school, gives people homework. Very, very cool. Very cool spot to hang out. Very positive and uplifting.
Excellent stuff.
He prays for people. So, yeah, we really like what he's doing over there. And I'm just saying, if you're going to rock a fanny pack,
it needs to be a white hat.
It needs to be a white hat fanny pack. Yeah, I agree. So
hands down. Right.
I'm gonna get a white hat fanny pack. So, and I have a really cool leather fanny pack, but I'm gonna trade it in for a white hat one. So, I'm just saying.
You're not trading in, you're trading up.
Shout out to White Hat and his
whoop whoop.
His fanny pack thing. I think that was a pretty bold move, and hey, you get props, White Hat. So anyway, I guess it'll be interesting to see out there who's rocking the white hat fanny pack 6 months from now, you know, because it'll be me. I can tell you that right now. I'll have this shirt on and my white hat fanny pack. Like what, you know?
America.
Yeah. America at the Trump inauguration.
Right.
They don't get an inauguration on the second round, do they?
Yeah. There's an inauguration every election. Like.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah. So I'll have
it's still it's a re-inauguration, I guess. Right. But yeah, he still gets the ceremony, I think. Now you got me questioning. I'm pretty sure.
Something like that. Right. So it was wonderful hanging out with you guys tonight. We're really sorry about the 720p situation, but that will be fixed next week. We'll be in normal HD, vivid color and splendor. I might even be rocking my white pack fanny pack. No, I'm just kidding. I might. Who knows? But you won't see it because it's down here. So, I mean, unless I put it around my neck, but I'm not going to do that. So, yeah. So it was wonderful hanging out with you guys tonight.
Much love.
Yeah, thank you for coming to another episode of the Space Force News, SFN Live.
SFN.
Right.
Live.
Yeah. We love hanging out with you guys. We love our cosmonauts, space cadets, space peeps.
Space cadets.
We love you guys.
Space peeps.
Wonderful divine beings.
Indeed.
So Foil, with that,
stay loyal, my friends.
We are your news in this dimension and the next. Good night, friends.
Peace out.
Peace out.